Okay, the first thing I want to do is actually just go to my body here. So we don't have one. So let's go all the way. Let's kind of move and organize everything here. So basically we just have some global styles here. And after that we have this helper class. And down here, I'm gonna start grabbing the body. And on this body, what I just want to do is add that font family. So I'm gonna say font family. I'm gonna say rule like this. And I'm also going to add sans serif just in case we have any issues with the browser, and that's a good fallback right there. Okay, so there we go. I know on the H1, which is going to be my logo, I'm also going to add a font family of vibes. Vibes like this. Okay, and let's do sans serif. Okay. So generally that should be fine. Okay, we can start moving to our index.html. So let's go inside the body here. And what I want to do is just create a simple navigation. So we've done this before. We just create a header. I'm going to also give it a class. I'm going to add a dot of main header. Okay, hit tab. Then in here, we're going to create a nav like this. Here we're going to have a H1. I'm going to add a hashtag logo. So that's going to give us an ID. This is going to be Alina Joy. Like that. And down here, what we're going to do is add a UL. I'm also going to add a class to this of nav links. All right, like that. Here we're going to have an LI with an anchor tag. That's going to take us to the about section. And I'm going to add about. Let's copy this 2 more times. Okay. So up here, we're gonna have, let's do work and let's do contact. Okay, let's also replace these, work and contact. Lovely. Okay, and that's all we need for now. So let's kind of style this up. Actually, let's do another section. So we have the whole first page finished. We are being very ambitious, so let's go outside of the header here. We're gonna create a main section, and in here I'm gonna have a hero section. Okay, actually let me add section here, hero, like this. And inside here we're gonna have a hero introduction. So basically this part of our website. So this part down here, a hero section, and an image on this side. Okay, so for now we just have the nav. Let's do this part. Okay, so just some text. Let's kind of figure out what we need here. So we're gonna have Alina Joy, photographer, that's fine. Let's do H2, Alina Joy. I'm gonna add a break here. I'm gonna say photography, like this, okay? Perfect, down here, I'm gonna add a p tag. I'm just gonna generate some lorem ipsum, lorem 20, hit tab, and hit save. That's gonna give me some random text. Okay, an anchor tag here, and this one is gonna take us to the gallery like this. Okay, and I'm just gonna say gallery. Okay, that's gonna take us to the whole slideshow image that we have all the way down here to this section. Okay, perfect. So other than that, what we also need is gonna be those images. So I'm gonna provide you with the images. It's gonna be in a folder that you can just copy and paste over. And here basically we have a lot of random images that I found on Pexels, and I just copy pasted over here, and these simple Instagram, Twitter, YouTube logos. Okay, the ones we're gonna need here is the Alina Joy picture and plant 1 and plant 2. All right, I just cut out 2 plants using Affinity Photo, and I just added here. Okay, so let's add those images. So down here below, what we can do, since we're adding display flex to this, it would be nice, as you can see, we have these 2 big sections, and we should probably add these inside 2 more divs, right? So this part and this part, so we can display flex them correctly. So let's take all of this section here, the H2 paragraph and a tag. I'm gonna copy them out. I'm just gonna start naming them with this hero and adding a dash and then giving it the name. So I'm gonna do a div hero. This is gonna be the introduction section. Tab, and then paste it in. Okay, and now below, I'm gonna create another one, hero, and this is gonna be images. tab, enter. And here I'm gonna drop an image, and we're gonna do a image, Alina Joy. Oops, where are you, Alina Joy? There we go. And the alternative is gonna be a picture of Alina Joy. Okay, perfect. So let's also add a class to this. Class, I'm gonna say hero, Alina. Okay, perfect. And let's also add those two plants. Actually, we're gonna add those later on. Okay, so that's it. I'm not gonna overcomplicate you with anything else. Let's just style this up, and then finally we're gonna add these things. Okay, so let's go to our style.css. Let's take a look at what we have here. Okay, amazing, wonderful looking. What we can also do is change the color of this anchor tag to black. So let's go here, and let's see anchor tags here. So we can add a color of black, okay? And what we can also do is, as you can see, that anchor here is super small. All right, so what we can do is just grab the anchor, copy it, and paste it here with these inputs, the p tags, and everything else. Hit save, and now it's large. Okay, lovely. Okay, so let's kind of figure out how to do this navigation. Okay, so this needs to basically stretch all the way there. Okay, so we've seen how we can do this. It's very simple. Let's go back here. Let's scroll down all the way here, and let's start naming everything so it's super clear. What we're gonna do is call this the nav section, like this. Okay, and what we're gonna have here is the nav. So what I want to do is also add that small margin across here and here. As you can see, we have those 5 pixels. So the way we can do that, again, is just add a width of 90% and then just add a margin of auto. Okay, I'm just gonna add a bit of color so we can see this background like that, a dark color. Let's take a look. So as you can see now, there's a bit of space here and here. Now I want this to stretch all the way there, but since we added the margin, it doesn't work. So how can we fix that? Well, we can add it to the parent element, the background color, because that does stretch all the way. If we take a look, we have this, let's see here. We have the nav links, right? So this whole section, the nav section, but this actually lies inside a header. And as you can see, the header still stretches all the way there. So what we can do is just kind of copy this background over from here and add it to the main head. So let's do main head. And if we paste now this in here, now everything else is fixed. Now we're not gonna keep this background color because it's trash, but this is just so you can see everything very easily. Okay, so you know the deal. What we need to do is just do a display flex. All right, and then we're gonna do an align item center like this, hit save. Let's also add a min height of 10 because we also wanna do that full page kind of thing. So yeah, there we go, that's what we have. Display flex, drop that thing there, and it's looking great. So now what I wanna do is add a display flex to this section, so the UL. So we got that by using nav links. So let's do that, nav links. We can say display flex and justify content space around. Hit save, as you can see, now it's here. Now space around didn't work because this UL doesn't have enough space, right? It just takes up the size of the UL, the content that it lies in. So it doesn't have any space to move around. So what we can do is just add that flex 1 so it stretches and takes up equal space with the logo here. So to do that, we can do logo as well. And let me show you, flex 1, and a base of 20 rem. Hit save. So now as you can see, it takes up all the available space and pushes this here. Okay, like that. But this one doesn't have space, so if I want equal spaces between the two, we can copy this over from here, and we can just add it to the nav links as well. Okay, and now since it has more space in it, it's also gonna add the space around very nicely. Okay, lovely. I also don't want this to be stuck all the way up here to the top. Even though we added a min height to this, what we can do is we can stretch this out and just add a bit of padding. So let's go up to the nav here and add a bit of padding. So we're gonna do padding of 2 rem top and bottom and 0 rem left and right. Hit save, and as you can see, we just have a bit more space to work with. And as you can see, our text is already fluid with that VW. So let me just remove the background because we're not gonna need it anymore. So let me go here and get rid of this ugly background. Perfect. I'm still gonna keep this because we're gonna do some trickery, some magic here with this. But as you can see, the font size is a bit big. However, the nice thing is when we get smaller, it's gonna get small like that. So that's super cool. Look at that. So what we're eventually gonna do is at a specific font size, at a specific width. So let's say around here, I don't want it to grow anymore. So I'm gonna set a fixed value. So it's gonna be the same size. Now it still grows and it's a bit large, but we're gonna fix that. Okay, so that's step 1. And now what we're gonna do is add that border shadow thing down here. So take a look. If I go to the first reaction you might be is, oh, I'm just gonna add it to the main head, right? Because the nav doesn't stretch all the way there. And we want that shadow to go all the way across. But take a look, something weird happens if we add box shadow and we say 0 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels blur. Now let's do an RGBAA. What was that? RGBAA? Oh goodness. Oh goodness. 0, 0, 0, which is black. And then we can do 0, 1 for the opacity and hit save. So now you're gonna see that, okay, this works, but it doesn't stretch all the way. So let's drop it up here and hit save. Okay, now everything works just fine. However, some weird things might be happening in just a bit, and I'm gonna get back to this if it doesn't work anymore. So for now, it looks good. So let's keep it like this. Now what I want to do is kind of take care of this section here. So let's go down to the hero. This is the hero section. So what we can do is grab hero, and I'm gonna add a min height of 90 VH because again, I want to make this full screen. Okay, there we go. And now what I want to do is also add a margin to this. So this text starts where this text starts. Actually, you know what? We don't actually need that because we can center everything here nicely. But if you want to add this text to be in the same line as this, I'm going to show you a small cool trickery. So what we can do is, let's go back here. We can add a width. We saw this trick where we could add a width of 90%, right? 90% like this. And then we can add margin auto. Okay? So this adds the margin, so now the text starts exactly here. Okay, but what if I don't want to have on this side, right? Because we automatically add 5% here. Maybe I just want 5% here, but I want this to be stretching all the way here. So what you can do is we can modify this. We can add 95 here, and I can specify that I want 0 on this, 0, 0, and I only want the margin auto on the last one. So now, as you can see, this stretches all the way there, and we still have the space going here. So that's super awesome. Let's keep it like this for now, and if eventually we're gonna remove it, we're gonna remove it. We're gonna see how we can kind of style this up. Now the problem is with this huge image, it's gonna take up a lot of space. So even though we added the min height 90 VH, since this picture is large, it's gonna stretch this whole big container all the way here. Okay, so let's kind of start fixing this up. Well, we can add a display flex like this, and we can also add a flex wrap to make it mobile friendly after a bit. What we can do is style up this hero introduction. Okay, what I want is for this to come in a column and to be pushed down here in the center. Okay, so if you remember, we added this helper class up here, this flex. So we can actually go here to the hero introduction and we can add a flex on top. Hit save and let's take a look. See, as soon as I do that, that already applies those specific styles to it. So this is already display flex, justify content center, align item center. So hey, super cool. So what we can also do is make this a bit smaller. So we can add flex 1 to both of these images. So let's go here to the, let's get the hero introduction. We're gonna say hero introduction, like this. And we can add a flex 140 rem to this. And we can also do that to the hero images, flex 140 rem. Hit save. And now as you can see, everything jumps nicely here. Okay, super. So actually, you know what, we can keep that width with the 95%, so the text starts exactly here. So that's cool. Okay, so we fixed that thing up, our image is here, but as you can see, we can still scroll a bit. And I don't know about you, but that annoys me a ton. So the reason why it still scrolls is because this image is very large in vertical size. So even though if I go here and maybe I want to get the image, so the actual image, which is hero Alina, I can add a width of 100% and a height of 100% to this, hit save. And as you can see, unfortunately, we can still scroll. So what we can do to simply fix this is I want to make this section a bit larger and push this image a bit to the left. So to do that, we can just go to, let's go to the hero introduction here and add flex 2 to this. So as you can see, this squishes the image, so it has less space, and this has more space now. However, the image looks a bit squished. So if I do 3 here, hit save, it keeps getting more and more squished. Okay, but we cannot scroll anymore, which is nice. Well, let's switch this to 2. So if I want to fix this issue of my image getting squashed, what we can do is just add an object fit of cover to this. So now it's still gonna keep that aspect ratio. So let me kind of show you. If I remove this, hit save, if I resize this and keep getting, let me just make this larger. As you can see, the more I squish it, it gets, as you can see, even if I change the height of this, it's gonna get kind of weird. Ooh, long neck. Okay, it's time to stop. But if I add this, we're not gonna have that issue anymore. There we go, lovely. Perfect. So now, since we added the wrap, it's also gonna wrap up here. So hey, it's almost mobile responsive, super cool. Okay, so next step would be to kind of fix this section up because I'm not a big fan of how this looks like. So let's do, we can maybe add a text align on this introduction, text align center, hit save. So now everything is aligned in the center. That's perfect. What we can do is grab this P tag and just add some padding to it. So let's kind of put everything here. Hero introduction. And we're gonna get the P tag. Let's just add a large padding, 5 rem on top and bottom, and like 10 rem on left and right. Okay, super. So now we have some spacing between these two and these two as well. Okay. I'm also gonna add a bit of padding to this one on top and to this gallery on the bottom. So let's kind of repeat. I'm gonna copy this over and paste it down here. Change this to H2, H2, and just add some 3 rem here. Okay, hit save, and lovely. Because if we get to a weird size like this, let me change this to padding top. Save. Okay, if I don't have this, and we have a smaller screen size here, also we want to make sure we separate this as well. I was like, why is this not working? So if I squish this together a bit like this, as you can see, we still have that spacing. But if I remove this padding top from the H2, we don't have that anymore. So just make sure we have some space, and the screen size doesn't really matter, as you can see. Hey, okay, lovely. So we can kind of do the same thing here, but to the bottom. All right, because if we squish this and when we go to the next page, if we have a next section, this is kind of gonna be stuck here at the bottom of it. So let me just copy paste this again. And what we're gonna do is change this to A. And here I just want a padding. Let's just do padding like this. And I'm gonna give it a, let's do 2 rem and 8 rem like this, because I also wanna add a border to this. So let's do a border of 3 pixels, solid black. Okay, so now this is actually gonna stretch that box. And as you can see, there's no space down there. So what I do is just add a margin to it. Margin, bottom of 4 rem. Okay, and now we have more space here. Yay, lovely. Okay, so we kind of made this already pretty nice and kind of mobile friendly. Now, when we actually go to the breaking point here, what we can probably do is just get rid of that padding so it takes up more of the space, because this looks so weird. Okay, so that's something we're gonna fix in the next section. Okay, so there we go. That's gonna be step 1. Let's also add those leaves, and then we're gonna cover the rest of the animations and the mobile, and we're gonna also implement a hamburger up here. So if you're hungry, you're gonna love this. Okay, stop talking, Ed. What do we need to do? Well, I also want to add a background image to this, so let's kind of fix up the image section here. So let's go here. I have a mosquito on my monitor. Oh my god. Hero image. Images. Oh, we have it selected down here. I am silly. So let's just add a background and just a nice little gradient on top of this. Background, let's do a linear gradient, and let's do, I picked out one here, DAD8DD, comma, let's do DAD 1D4, and let me add a hashtag here as well. Let's see how that looks. That looks nice. I like it. Perfect. Beautiful. Okay, look at this. We have an issue. Can you see the box shadow on top here? No, you cannot. It's gone. So the way you can fix this is we can go up here to the box shadow, and I'm gonna change the Z index to something larger, like 2. Hit save. That's still not gonna work. So when you have these backgrounds on top of each other, this box shadow gets removed for some reason. So the way you can fix this, if you ever have this issue with box shadow, is you can add a position relative and hit save, and that's gonna fix it. Okay, so make sure to add a Z index and a position relative, and that's gonna fix the problem for you. Okay. Okay, let's go down. Let's go to the linear gradient. We added that, and what we want to do is add those little leaves. So let's go to our index.html, and right below this image, we're gonna drop those in here. So I'm gonna do image. Oops, let me go here. Image, and this is, I'm gonna call this image plant. We're gonna say plant 1, and since this is purely decorative, I'm now gonna add an alternative to this. And I'm also going to add a class of plant1 and plant. Copy this over, because again, this is something just general styles I want to add to this, and this is something specific. So I'm going to change this to 2 and this one to 2. Hit save, and that's it. We can close this up, and let's see what we have. Oh no, everything is ruined. And the reason why everything is ruined, because these take up all the space. But I don't want these to take up any space here on my screen. I want to kind of remove them from the document and position them absolutely in this section, all right? So what we can do is just go here in our CSS, and I can just grab that plant. So we can say plant, and I can add a position absolute like this, and we can do bottom 0 and left 20%, minus 20%. And let's take a look what we have. Okay, so now everything got removed. We're back to the normal. but as you can see, left minus 20% is here. So I want to make sure that I specify that these plans should be relative to our image section, not to the whole document here. So all you need to do if you want to add a position relative to that section is you just need to find the section, which is hero images. So this section, and we just add a position relative to this, and now they're going to be relative to that. So here. Okay, but it's kind of forward here. I don't want this to be here ahead. So what we can do is also add a z index -1 and push it to the back. So let's go to the plant, and we can add a z index of -1. Hit save, and as you can see, well, it's back there now. However, the background is now covering the thing. Oh my goodness. So what we need to do is specify that the hero images should be in front. So we can say z index, and I'm going to give it a bigger number than this. So 1. And now it's correct. Oh, thank goodness. Lovely. Okay. But I want to move this one a bit here to the right. I don't like the position of this. So we just need to get plant 2 basically. So let's just get plant 2. And what I want to do is just move the left to like 40%. There we go. Lovely. This is what we need. But bum bum bum, another problem arises to the horizon. Wrap, boy. Okay, so if we scroll, you're going to see that, oh, okay, since we position these absolutely, and this kind of takes up more space, it kind of leaves the container. However, I do not want that. I don't want this to poke out there. So what we can do is add an overflow of hidden, and that's not gonna leave this section anymore, and we don't have this nasty scroll bar going here. Okay, so let's see how we can fix that up. So let's go back here, and all we need to do is go back to the hero section. Okay, and add a overflow of hidden. Hit save, and now it fixed our issue. Now, if I take this overflow hidden, I can technically move it to this image section. So where is the image section? Hero, hero images, so to the hero images. Hit save. Okay, this works as well, but as you can see, it also cuts this off. And I don't want that. I kind of like the look, the aesthetic of this poking through. However, I don't want this to be scrollable. That's the only reason why I added overflow hidden, is so I cannot scroll with the width. Okay, so I just want to fix this section. So that's why we added to this big section here. So this whole big section. Okay, so it's fine if it goes out here, but it's not fine if it goes out there. So I'm gonna copy this to the hero and not to the image. But if you want that look, if you don't want that poking through, you can add it to the section that it's in. But for now, let me just remove it and add it back there. So now our little plant is poking through and it's ready to be animated. So in the next section, what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on making this cool, animating this, and then we're gonna also fix up a bit of the mobile friendliness here. And finally, after the next section, so the second section that's coming after this, is we're gonna implement the hamburger. Okay, I need a drink because I'm talking a lot of nonsense. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.